Happy Wednesday and welcome back to the Graduated and Grown podcast. Hey y'all, this is Ariane, the host of the podcast, but today you will not just be hearing my voice. I have an amazing guest for today's episode where we're talking about working in social media, finding your passion, having an amazing TikTok account with over 25,000 followers, and also just navigating post-grad life because in this podcast, you guys know I talk about this pretty much every episode. Life after college is not easy, it's not picture perfect, and it's honestly filled with a lot of mistakes, a lot of setbacks, but also a lot of beautiful moments and a lot of great memories that you definitely want to cherish. So, today's guest I actually met virtually through TikTok, and I tell the story in the interview, but it was just really the content she was providing was really, really awesome. And then just being able to talk with her about the topics in this episode was really, really fun. We really connected on so many different levels, but today's guest is none other than Jasmine Watt. So Jasmine is also a class of 2020 graduate, aka she's in the best class. So I don't want to hear any disrespect about the class of 2020 because we're the best. She graduated from Azusa Pacific University, which is in California, and she's currently working in the digital marketing and social media space, which I think is so cool. And Jasmine is very relatable and very authentic with her content. Well, actually, not only her content, but just in her basic day to day conversations. I feel weird saying that because it's not like I really know Jasmine that well. We've talked like 3 times, but just every time we talk, I feel like she's really genuine, very authentic, and she has a really unique yet refreshing perspective. So really, really enjoy talking to her. So like I said, she has a TikTok account, and on that account, she talks about social media news, technology trends, and then she just also kind of touches on post-grad life with her followers. Class of 2020 in particular, and I think class of 2021, you guys will get into this too, but trying to navigate the world while working a job or being in school, plus a pandemic that's still going on, it's pretty difficult. It's difficult. When she's not doing her 9 to 5, Jasmine honestly loves hiking, thrifting. We talk about that a little bit, cooking, going on TikTok, and being a Yelper. So she said that's her favorite app of all time. And I get that 100%. Yelp is literally one of the best app creations of all time. I don't know where I would be without Yelp. I have like restaurant plans in like all 50 states. I know where I want to go and I know what I want to order. And Jasmine is very, very similar. So this was a really, really fun episode. I think you guys are going to not only enjoy the topics that we're talking about, but also walk away with something new. And if you did learn something from today's episode, be sure to share it with us on the Instagram page at Graduated and Grown. And also, if you want to see like me and Jasmine's faces. Like if you want to see the video component of this podcast, be sure to go over to our YouTube channel at Graduated and Grown, where you can see the full video. You could see the laughs, you could see the concentration. Sometimes I like to see people's faces. So again, that's Graduated and Grown on YouTube. And then you can go to our Instagram at Graduated and Grown for other content. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this really great episode with Jasmine Watt. Today, I have a special guest. And before I tell you about this special guest, this is actually our second time recording this podcast episode because technology sucks. And yeah, that's all I have to say. So I'm really excited for you guys to meet and listen to today's guest. I actually found her through TikTok. And from last conversation, we had a really, really great time. I think she's absolutely amazing. So please give a round of applause for Jasmine Watt.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be back again, round two.
Yes.
And for
I'm so
full
excited.
disclosure, that's totally on my end. My computer died in the middle of the episode, of course, and we couldn't recover the files. So, like we said, everything happens for a reason. So maybe this episode's going to be way better than the last. I don't know how it will be because we had a great episode, but
We did.
maybe somehow it will be topped.
We had such a great time. Like after that episode, I was like, that was literally the best way it could have gone. Cause you know, like when you haven't talked to someone before, you're nervous it's gonna be awkward, like they're not gonna be as outgoing or talkative as you thought they would be, but you like surpassed all of my expectations.
Oh, thank you. Well, you made it easy. I mean, I feel like I've
Oh,
known you, so it just like totally worked out, and I'm glad. And it's just, you know what, we just needed to see each other again. We needed to chat again, so it was so good.
exactly.
Round two.
Right. So before we get into this episode, which is gonna talk about adulting, starting a new job during a pandemic, your TikTok experience and then social media trends, I want to get to know you a little bit better as well as the guests. So I have a couple icebreaker questions. So the first thing I want to ask you, and this is kind of funny because before we started recording, we were talking about her little work vacation. But if you could go anywhere in the world right now for vacation, where would you go and why?
Ooh, love this question. And yes, I whenever I think vacation, it has to be tropical.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel like, for instance, I don't say I'm vacationing to New York, like I'm visiting New York, right? Like it's a
Yeah.
hustling, bustling city. I can't relax. But if I'm going to Hawaii, like, yes, I'm laying on a beach. I'm not doing anything all day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being a potato. So I would say I've been here before, but I would love to go to Hawaii, but
Mm.
specifically Hilo, because on the Big Island, all of my friends from Hawaii are from Hilo. It's a really small, like rural town
Mm-hmm.
in Hawaii. And I would just like love to visit them. They literally swim with like turtles for fun in the middle of the
Wow.
day. And you would not believe their social media. It's just like every day there's like a rainbow and they're swimming with turtles and they're out eating poke and just skating around. And it just looks like the life. So that's where I would be right now.
I that sounds absolutely amazing. I don't think I even follow anyone on TikTok, not on TikTok, but on Instagram or any social media platform that lives in Hawaii. But I could only imagine a rainbow every day, just being surrounded by beautiful water, greenery. Oh, wow. So, how
It's
many times have you
amazing.
been to Hawaii?
I honestly, I've lost count because I actually have
What?
family that lives there. So
Okay. Uh huh.
I've been at least 5 times. We just go to visit. So my family's from Oahu and lives,
Hmm.
yeah, lives on that island. But whenever we visit, it's a little bit more touristy. We try and kind of go off on our own in a resort that's further away. But like, we're visiting family and it's a little bit more touristy. So I want like the true Hawaiian experience. But I grew up going to Hawaii and like my grandparents are they're Chinese, but they're a lot more like Hawaiian, I'd say. So they're a lot
Hmm.
more connected to their Hawaiian culture. So it's fun. We love that place. It has like a very special, place in all of our hearts.
That is so cool. I was actually looking, me and my friends, we were supposed to be going to Hawaii. We're not, but Oahu was
Oh,
the island we were looking at. So if we end up going in the future, I'm going to be like, Jasmine, I need all the tips.
yes.
Like, where can we go where all the tourists won't
Hit me
be?
up. Hit me up. I will give you the food places. Okay. Let me tell you
Yes.
there. Oahu's the best because it's the perfect combo of like if you want the touristy, situation, you can have that. If
Hmm.
not, you can just also go kind of be like where the locals are. So
So
yeah,
cool.
make it work, make it happen because life is too short.
Yes,
Visit.
that's what COVID taught us. Next year,
Mhm.
that's the goal.
Yes.
Okay, next question. Since you are a social media guru, which we'll get into later, what is your favorite social media app right now and why?
Oh, that's so easy, the way you found me. TikTok, of course. I mean, I'll talk about it later, but I'm obsessed with the app, and I think it's such a baby. I was actually talking to someone from TikTok not long ago,
Oh, wow.
and I know, ooh, but no, a friend of mine connected with me with her, and she was like, "Yeah, we've only been in the U.S. for 2 years." And I was like, oh my gosh, like it's such a fresh new app. I think
Yeah.
the opportunity for virality, connection. I mean, you don't have to be someone big to make amazing connections and grow a platform on TikTok and share your voice. And I think it's ushered in an era, especially in the pandemic, when we weren't looking cute all the time and we were
Yeah.
going through a lot. I really like, I'm not gonna lie, it sounds embarrassing to say, but I feel like I've been healed from some things I've seen on TikTok. Like, I be on therapy TikTok sometimes. I'm like, dang, my childhood traumas. Like, I didn't realize I did this. But then also, you have the stupid fun stuff and the inspirational stuff. So I think it's an incredible platform. And I hope the company is figuring out ways to keep the longevity going because it should be the number one social media platform everywhere. I hope. So,
Yeah.
yes, love TikTok.
I think that's a great choice. I think I would agree with you. I think right now TikTok is definitely my favorite app. It's actually kind of funny. Since we did the first interview, my TikTok time spent on the app has decreased, but like today, anytime I got a break from my training session I was at work, 8 hours a day, I literally laid in my bed for the 15-minute breaks and just like scrolled because that was
Yeah.
like my revitalization that I needed to get through those training sessions.
Yeah. And is this podcast on TikTok? Like, do you post clips?
I've been thinking about it. I feel like I should because again, like anyone can see it. Like on Instagram,
Yes.
most random people won't come across your content, but TikTok, we'll do that for this season. We will go on
Yes.
TikTok.
I'm telling you, I've seen a ton of podcast clips on my TikTok recently, and I've seen some that blew up overnight. So,
Wow.
girl, get that graduating grown, get that on TikTok.
Okay, I will. You guys heard it here first.
Yes.
You said something else I wanted to respond to about TikTok. Oh, I like how you talked about like people come on the app kind of looking all crazy. Like I feel like on Instagram, and I suffer with this too, but you feel like you kind of have to look perfect on there. Like these
Mhm.
are like these curated pictures that you like looked at. You ask your friends, "Hey, should I post this one or this one?" But on TikTok,
Mhm.
nobody really says, "Should I post this video or this video?" most of the time.
Yeah.
So I just love the authenticity that TikTok has. And again, how literally anyone can go viral. It's been so cool seeing like people that you follow when they had like 5,000, like get to 1 million. And you're like, okay, I want them to get this brand deal. I want them to collab with this other TikToker. So I agree. I think it's an amazing app. And I really can't wait to see what the future holds for it. But wasn't okay. So I heard TikTok was music. I don't even know how to say it.
Mm.
Musically.
Mhm.
Were you on Musically?
I was not, but yes, it's
Mm,
owned. They're both companies are owned by ByteDance, and previously it was
mhm.
Musically. And the funny thing is you can actually see certain people's old Musicallys on TikTok. Like Bryce Hall,
Mm.
he has like an old
Yes.
Musically account, and it's so cringe, and it's from
I think
like
I've seen it.
2017. It's so old. I was never on it. Were you
Okay.
on it?
Yes, but I don't remember what my username was. I'm just gonna have to
Oh,
go type in like Arion and see what it is. Because I used to be on Vine, Musically, and that other one. It
I know
was
there was
another
like one
cringy
more
app.
that I can't even remember.
Yeah, but okay. Well, good to know.
Yeah, go
A
look
little
yourself up.
TikTok
The
history.
archives. Yeah,
I don't even want to know what's back there though, because I
yeah.
was so cringy back then. Oh my goodness. Okay, last icebreaker question. What's a trend that you're into right now? Whether that's a trend that you like to do or a trend that you like seeing other people do, like the fake freckles or vacationing in Tulum. That was a huge trend a couple months ago. Or like buying AirPods or the Euphoria makeup trend on TikTok. Like, what's a trend that you're into right now?
Yeah, love that. I'll actually reference an app I don't like, but I love it, and I just made a TikTok video on it. So I'm loving photo dumps on Instagram.
Yes.
I'm loving them because, and I explained this in my last video, but it totally reminds me of what the original use of Instagram was supposed to be, right? Where like,
Hmm.
I remember when I first got Instagram, I was posting like super heavily edited photos of like
Yes.
my dog or
Hmm.
like something on a table, like dumped, right? And that's what photodoms remind me of early Instagram, where people just took pictures of what they wanted to. It was beautiful. It was about seeing life through the lens of the original poster. And there wasn't this pressure of like, everything has to be perfect. I can choose one perfect photo. And dumps allow you to just put 10
Yeah.
amazing or kind of amazing photos into one thing. So I think that feature, the carousel feature on Instagram is huge. And if you can utilize it in a way that's a little more casual, it's amazing and a lot more fun. And I've been loving that. And I recently posted a photo dump from my month that I was away. And I was like,
I
this
feel
is
like
so
I saw that.
fun. Yeah, it was just like so fun. And I was like, oh, I'm romanticizing my life. Like every little small
Hmm.
thing I did, I like, posted it. And so, anyway, I'm a huge fan of that. I think anything that moves towards, the spectrum of being more authentic and less filtered is the
Mm.
best way to go. So, loving that on Instagram.
I love that you mentioned that because photo dumps are definitely. It's funny because I wouldn't have even thought of that as a trend, but it is, and
Yeah.
I love it too. Like it's so cool. One to just get like a glimpse into someone's weekend, someone's month, someone's year, or someone's like favorite TikToks. I've seen a lot of like TikTok photo dumps lately,
Mhm.
actually. Um, and it doesn't have to be the perfect pictures, and it could also be just things you enjoy, like the sandwich you had last week when you were on
Yeah.
the beach, or the nature that you saw when you were hiking. So I think that's probably one of the best Instagram trends. I would personally say of all time. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. I hope it's here to stay. It's incredible. And yeah, post your little photos of you eating your sandwich. Keep them coming. I love it.
Yes. And I also love like the Instagram story dumps too. Like some people like they'll
Yes.
go like dark on Instagram for like 3 weeks and come
Yes.
back a bunch of stories and I just live for it.
I think it's also about living life in the moment. You're totally right. Like,
Mm.
I know I follow, oh, the drama, I shouldn't say this, but like Rachel Kirkconnell
Mhm.
on Instagram. I don't follow her, but like I love how aesthetically pleasing her stuff is. And she'll do that. She'll travel to New York to see Matt. That's a whole other story. Her and Matt back
Tea.
together. Tea. So she'll travel and she doesn't want anyone knowing she's traveling. So she won't post in real time. And then she'll get back from her trip and she'll have like so many stories and she'll just walk us
Yeah.
through her trip. And I'm like, that is so cool because she just took these pictures and lived in the moment. And now we get to enjoy this trip that she was on and it's done, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's just better all around. So
And I
I agree.
also think it's great for security reasons. I was talking to my mom about this the other day. Like influencers, it's not, if you were to really pay attention to somebody's posts, like on their story and stuff, you could probably figure out like the area that they're in. But if you don't post that you were in Las Vegas staying at the, I don't know any of the hotels,
The
the Hard
flamingo
Rock
or something.
Hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like if you post it 3 days later, no, you don't have to worry about your security being
Yeah.
compromised. And then your followers will probably enjoy that content like kind of squished into like 1 or 2 days rather than you spreading out over a week anyway.
Yes. And that's actually a term. And I watched a video recently and someone was saying that influencers do that to protect their privacy. And I
Hmm.
think even like the Kardashians do that. If they're somewhere one day, they will post the next day or way after. So it's
Smart.
a smart way to go.
For sure. Well, thank you for answering those fun questions. I definitely learned a lot more about the things that you're interested in. So, can you tell? I feel like I know a little bit about you, but can you tell the listeners just who is Jasmine? What are you about? What do you do? All that great stuff.
Yes. Yes. All about me. So my name is Jasmine. Yes. I'm currently based in the Bay Area. This is where I grew up. I was born and raised in the East Bay Area. So I love being from here. Have such a close tie to like the people here and the culture and community. I think the Bay is like where I want to raise my kids. It's incredible.
Mm,
So from the Bay, recently graduated. Well, I say recently graduated, but it's been a year. It's been over a year.
girl.
I feel like we
I
recently
know.
graduated. I'm like, I'm a post grad. Okay, we're gonna hold on to that. Post
Yes.
grad 2020 from Azusa Pacific University. So that's in Azusa, a really random town down south. When I say down south, I mean Southern California.
Right.
I know down south could mean different things depending on where you are located. So down south in Southern California, studied business management and marketing there, and then kind of, had little part time things along the way, doing marketing and social media management, things of that nature, and then graduated in the pandemic or left
Mm.
before that, left because of the pandemic, graduated in the pandemic, was on the job search and landed the job I have now working as a social media coordinator for a food brand, which has been great. I've almost been there for a year. I onboarded in August, which is it's
Wow.
going to be in a couple months. It's a year's time. So, um, yes, aside from like social media marketing and all of that stuff, I mean, I love that. And obviously, I have my TikTok where I talk about that all the time. But I just love, I guess I'll talk about like, this is such like a elevator pitch for myself. I love this. I love long walks on the beach. No,
Oh.
I do, but I love hiking. I recently been really into thrifting. Not recently, but
Mhm.
like I just am like, what am I doing buying from, big department stores and stuff like that? Like I would much rather thrift as much as I can.
Mhm.
So really been into thrifting. I did a lot of that when I was down in LA this past month. Cooking, baking. I'm obsessed with food. I'm the type of girl that stays up
Yes.
late on Yelp the night before I'm going to go to a restaurant. I pick out exactly what I'm getting. And yeah, love my family, my friends. I mean, pretty basic, but just living life. So
I'm just that's the Courtney Kardashian
yeah.
stuff. I'm just living life. I heard that
Right.
today. Well,
Yes.
awesome. Thank you for that wonderful elevator pitch about yourself. So you mentioned that you went to Azusa Pacific. So unfortunately, now that we're not considered recent grads anymore. I mean,
I
actually,
know.
I feel like until we're like 3 years post college, I feel like we're still recent grads.
Thank
So,
you. I went to a wedding last month and I said that to someone who graduated a year before us, and he was like,
mm.
"No, that's not true." And I was like, "Okay, mister, like, I think we're still post grad, like, recent grads until the 3-year mark."
Yeah,
I agree with you. I
exactly.
concur.
So, tell me about your college experience. I know we both experienced leaving early, being ripped from our friends and our teachers and our college apartments or dorms, but like overall, how was your college experience?
I would say college was a roller coaster for me of emotions. I went into it thinking it was gonna be the best 4 years of my life, and I'll just be honest, like, do not put that pressure on yourself for college to literally be the best thing ever and for you to walk out of it with, like, your best friends. Um, Getting to college, I had such a strong conviction that APU was the place that I needed to be, but it was
Mhm.
hard. I First 2 years, I was really lonely, I had major roommate problems, felt like I didn't have support, didn't have friends. Things didn't really change for me until junior year. I started really making a lot more friends, and then senior year was a lot better. But I'll be honest, all throughout then, I mean, I think about college, I think of friends. Um, I had major like friend problems, not necessarily
Mm,
drama, but just like disappointments with friendships
mm,
and feeling like people aren't showing up for me the way I show up for them. And I never had a friend group. I was a part of like many different circles that I could kind of hop in on and get invited to trips and things that people were doing, but I didn't have like a core group of girls where we're like, we're going out this weekend. We always have each other's backs. Like I didn't have that. And that was a large part of my college experience, was kind of like mourning the loss of that expectation.
mm,
But honestly, like I coming out of college, I actually see that to be a huge blessing in the way that life has kind of panned out, because I think I've been able to expand my network and connections and friends because I never had like a home base kind of situation. So
mm.
I would say friend wise, it was all over the place, but I left with some really great girls, a solid little group from a scattered group of girls that are just incredible. And I would say also just like for personal growth, I it was incredible for me. I emotionally matured so much in college and really discovered more about my faith and who I am and what I
Mhm.
truly, truly believe. And that's just a part of the school I went to, and then part of the people I was with. So I would say it was crazy. Like one weekend I'd be crying, the next weekend I'd be like, I'm having the best time of my life. Like I'll just be real with you. That was college for me. And I
Mhm.
look back with very fond memories, but it was hard. So
Mhm.
college was definitely a roller coaster.
I feel you 100%. I use the exact same word to describe my college experience. Overall, I think it was a roller coaster. I think I had a really, really great time, but I feel like there were definitely some low moments that I kind of like documented that,
Mm,
reminds me, okay, yeah, it definitely was a roller coaster. And I want to talk about your social life a little bit. I wasn't planning on it, but you brought up some really interesting points. So, how has your experience been maintaining those friendships, since you're not on campus anymore? Do a lot of your friends live near you, or do you still have a lot of like high school or just childhood friends? How has that been for you?
mm, Great question. One of the things that made college so hard for me was that I lost the one group that I did have. I was friends with
Mhm.
three really great girls, and just over time, expectations on friendship changed. I was really hurt by something, and we stopped being friends, and we haven't been friends since, really. We're amicable now and we've made up, but we're not ever going to be the same. So that was part of that roller coaster. That was a really
Mhm.
low low, but from that, I learned so much about people, and I kind of committed to never give up on my friends since then. So the way I look at friendships and I've sort of maintained things is having levels with my friendships. It's a lesson that I literally learned like when I graduated college and I was able to reflect on my friends. I was like, I don't have a best friend. Like I
Mhm.
have a few very close girlfriends, but like not the type of best friend where you're like, this is the only girl that's like very close to me, like this close to me, you know? So I kind of looked at my friends from, a higher up perspective, and I was like, whoa, I could probably point out one thing in all of my friends that I'm not a fan of. Like,
Mhm.
I don't love that. I can't do this with this friend, or this friend kind of is like this, and it changes our relationship to be this. But I had to change my mindset to think more abundantly and say to myself, okay, wait, maybe I can't go shopping with Ashley, but I can go get coffee with her and have really deep conversations. And then maybe with Christina, I can only have really deep conversations and we don't go shopping. Like, of course, not to limit your friends, but to know, like, don't
Mhm.
be disappointed if it doesn't work out, if one friend can't do like everything that you love to do with
Mm.
you. So having that mentality, I think, has actually really helped me to diversify the way I hang out with my friends, who I hang out with. I hardly rely on like just one person to kind of fulfill my friendship needs. I get it from a lot of different people. So that's one thing I'd say is just removing like expectations for someone to be everything that you are in a friend was one of the
Wow.
biggest things I learned from my friendships in college, and it's like set me free because now I can meet people where they're at and I'm not going to be upset if in the back of my mind I had this vision of us, going on trips and vacationing and it really working out, but at the end of the day her and I only work if we really meet up for coffee, once a week. Like I'm not going to be secretly passive aggressive to her, in the back of my mind because I
Yeah.
have this expectation of how our friendship will play out. So, yeah, I would say freeing myself of those expectations has helped me meet my friends where they're at. And like now, I don't have any friends in the Bay Area with me that are physically close. I have one friend in San Francisco, but even her, we don't hang out that much anymore. So I have friends everywhere. I'm constantly on FaceTime, constantly texting people. Also, I don't get back to people for at least a couple days, and I've learned that's okay with adulting. You text
It
someone one day
is.
and maybe they respond a week later and you're still great friends. So in a nutshell, just like relieving myself of like pressure for things to look the way that I've envisioned and just kind of letting God work my friendships out the way that they are and love my friends where they're at.
Wow. Okay. We definitely have to do another episode and
Yeah.
talk more in depth about friendship because I really
Yeah.
like your mindset. I feel like you really just opened up my eyes. I like how you said kind of like meeting your friends or meeting your friendships where they are and not expecting them to be your everything, and like tying this back into social media. I think social media makes it feel like you have to have this best friend, and I think
Mhm.
post college I realized, oh, Ariane, you don't have a best friend either. I think
Mm.
I think it was on National Best Friend Day, and I
Oh,
was
and
like,
that's coming up, I think it's in June. I'm pretty positive I
well,
looked on the calendar, it's in June.
I was like, should I post my boyfriend?" Like,
Yeah.
anyway, I just feel like on social media, you see a lot of other people who have like maybe this friend they've known since they were 3 and they're super close. They live together, they travel the world
Mhm.
together. You're like, man, I don't have that. Like, person A could be that, but then you start naming, well, they can't be this because of that, or they
Yep.
don't have this quality that I feel like I need in a best friend. But
Mhm.
okay, we're gonna schedule that.
Yes.
We have to talk about that.
Yes. I could talk about this all day, and I don't feel like enough people are honest about expectations with friendships and the fact that it's painful. Like,
Yeah.
everybody wants a best friend. Everyone wants a girlfriend that you feel like, "That's my girl." Like, I go to her for
Mhm.
everything, that's my rock, like, I can do anything and everything with her. And it's funny you say that because I'm even kind of helping my mom and my sister work through that expectations that they have on their lives because they see me and I have great friends and they also hear about the major problems I have with my friends. I mean, and it's funny, I posted that back to the carousel with the photo dump. I posted some of my friends in, that photo dump, and my mom was like, "Wow, like your life, like it just looks so perfect." And I know it's not because I see what goes on behind the scenes. And I just like told her, I was like, "I hope you're encouraged by the fact that like these are my great friends, but I have something that I've had to confront with like all of them. Like there's things that
Mm.
we've had to work through with each and every one of them." And so even what you see on social media, like there are people who are pretending to be friends or friends and they have problems. And
Yeah.
like that is life. Life is about like learning how to love people, and love is a choice. And oftentimes those choices come from really difficult moments of how like learning to love someone. So book the call. I'm ready for the friendship podcast. When you are, I will be here.
Okay, okay, like seriously for sure. Okay. But I don't want to spend the whole time talking about friendships because I feel like we could probably talk about that for an hour.
Yes.
So so we just talked about friendships and like kind of like social life. So what are some challenges that you feel like you've been working through since graduating? I feel like for me, one thing I've been trying to do is like really kind of figure out, who's my friend, who am I going to
Mm,
spend time with, whether it's in person or, through FaceTime or Zoom. I feel like also I feel like I'm on this self-discovery journey of like what makes me happy, what's worth me spending my time on. And then also like what do I want my life to look like in 10 years, 20 years? You know what I mean? Like what am I working
mhm,
towards? So what are some of the challenges that you've been working through?
mm. Everything you just mentioned. That is so good, and you know what's funny? I'm gonna just keep referencing TikTok, okay? That's gonna be the theme here. I made a separate
Okay.
TikTok for my, like, I wanted to talk about, like, self-growth and, things that I've been through, and I'm like, my, like, little TikTok on, like, social media is not like, on social media trends is not gonna be the place where I talk about that. So I made one and, like, I don't really put any effort into it, but I've seen, like, a lot of success with it, and a lot of my videos have done really well. And I
Wow.
recently posted a video where I talked about how being in your 20s is, like, the most exhausting time period of my life that I've had.
Mhm.
I feel like people normally attribute that to your teenage years where you're, like, a mess and you're a rebel and you're figuring out your life. No. For me, that is my 20s. I don't know
Mhm.
what I want out of life. The moment I think I know what I want, it changes.
Yeah.
I say I want to live in one city 1 month, and literally the next month I'm like, I don't want to live there. Like, friends are scattering. There's nothing I can, like, no foundation that I can kind of like grasp onto when it comes to like my external environment. So I'm with you in the sense that, like, I'm figuring out what I want. And
Mhm.
I thought I knew what I wanted. I've always been someone that's been known for, like, I know what I want. I have standards. This is what I'm
Yeah.
going for. I'm just being shut up. I don't know what I want right now out of life. And when my friend and I drove down to Newport a month ago, I was in such a rough place because her and I had planned on like moving in together, and she ended up getting a job and we're in separate places now. Um, and I kind of just broke down and cried to her, and I was like, you know what? Like, I haven't been dreaming. Like, I haven't been just like asking God, the universe, about things that I want to do. I've just been
Mhm.
settling for very minimal things like, oh, yeah, sure, I can just stay here. Sure, I can just stay in this job. I can just do this. And I haven't been having visions and like dreams for my life. And I've been playing it really small. And she was just
Mm.
like, "No, Jasmine, like, you need to dream big. Like, do not give up on dreaming big." Like, and who are we? We're like 23 talking about
Yeah.
how we're giving up on our dreams, but life gets tiring, and when you get knocked down so many times, you're kinda just like, "Well, what's the point of
Yeah.
dreaming?" So, I would say that's exactly where I'm at. That's the hardest part about adulting right now is, like, what do I want? What can I ask for? And, like, what is worth, like, putting it like, say I wanna move to New York. Like, how hard do I go to move to New York? Like, what if that's
Yeah.
not what's gonna work out? I don't really know. I'm in the thick of it. I don't know. I'll tell you when I figure it out, but I'm just encouraged to just, like, dream big. We're in such a cool part of our lives where we're not tied down by a lot, and I think we need to be dreaming, like, the biggest we've ever dreamt before. So, in a
Yeah.
nutshell, that's what I'm going through.
I agree 100%. I am a believer that I feel like our 20s are our time to try new things and, like you said, dream. And after you have those dreams, like go out and get it within reason. Now, I don't want you
Mhm.
like moving to Australia and you don't have
Right.
any plans,
Right.
but you know what I mean? Like most people in their 20s are not married. Most people in their 20s don't have houses. Like it's really just us, a couple suitcases, and our phones. So we can
Mhm.
really go anywhere we want. So I really hope that you have some dreams sometime soon, and I hope I have some dreams too, because it is so
Yes.
easy to settle. And I think the pandemic maybe played a role in that just
Mm.
because there was so much uncertainty, and there
Yeah,
still
that's
is
good.
uncertainty. We're like about to hit a year and a half. So like having something that's stable, something that's comfortable, or something that's stable is very comfortable right now. But I feel like
Yeah.
if you have this dream and it seems really uncomfortable, you kind of have to put yourself out there, get out of your comfort zone, maybe lose some money, who knows, just
Yes.
so you can get to, that place you want to be.
Yes. You're so right. The pandemic has made it so that, like, our routines are the only thing that's keeping us stable right now, you know? And it's like so much growth comes from being uncomfortable, and I have not been
Yeah.
uncomfortable for the past year. And as scary as that sounds to say, like, I was telling someone, like, you pick your battles. You either are
Hmm.
uncomfortable to a degree at home, dealing with, like, your parents and just, like, the mundane, or you're uncomfortable with being on your own and like providing for yourself and like that. Like you just have to pick your battle. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm with you. It's gonna be crazy, but I hope we can like dream big and we can see some big things happening soon.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully. This kind of brings us into our next question, kind of. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about your job and then we're going to get into like social media and TikTok.
Mhm.
So, let's go back to 2019 and 2018. When you were a junior or senior in college, what did you envision yourself doing after college? Did you think you'd be working in social media? Did you want to go into grad school? Did you want to go into the army? Like what did you think you wanted to do?
Yeah, definitely not the army. I'm not cut out for that.
Me either.
But yeah, not cut out for that. But I wanted to work in the beauty industry. That was my thing
Mm.
for the longest time. I don't know why. I don't know why. I love being in CPG, consumer packaged goods. I love that industry. It's so fun to do marketing with that, with a physical product. And
Yeah.
so I there's a lot of beauty companies in San Francisco. My biggest goal for a while was to get an internship at Sephora.
Oh,
And
wow.
I remember like I was pining away to get that. Never got it. And it was like the most frustrating thing ever. So, and of course, things happened another way where I actually ended up working in like a little warehouse packing up
Hmm.
shipments for a beauty company that summer. That was like a small business, and they offered me a marketing position right when I left.
Nice.
So that all that to say, I wanted to work at like a big flashy glamorous beauty company. Never have, still haven't.
Hmm.
Um, ended up working at like a all hands on deck, scrappy, small skincare company that helped get something like that on my resume. But um, yeah, that's what I saw myself doing. I saw myself just like doing marketing, being like long term, some sort of like boss executive running in some big city,
Hey.
in and out of the from the office to the taxi to the, all that to my date, like and working probably in beauty. So that's what I saw
Hmm.
for myself.
So, do you still have that vision for yourself later on in life or has it changed?
It's completely changed in some ways and in others it hasn't. I
Hmm.
do not care to be in beauty. Like in fact,
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, that's like totally not really what I wanted. And if I am with a beauty brand, I'd want to align with the values. And I think
Hmm.
beauty brands have shifted so much now where it's not about like makeup as much as it's about like skincare, authenticity, bare face, all that. So anyway, all that to say, probably not beauty, but yes to like being in a big city and being like some boss chick that's like running around in heels in
Yes.
some like big
Calling the
city.
taxi.
Yes, calling the taxi. I was just thinking about this the other day. I'm like, ooh, like I'm like manifesting. I'm like, when I get my city job, I'm gonna get like those shoes that you wear like while you're commuting. You know, those like you roll them up in your. I don't know why this is so random. You like roll them up in your bag, and then you have like your
Yeah.
heels in your bag. So when you're going into the office, you like quickly switch out. I'm like, I gotta be thinking of these things as I get ready for my commute to this job that I don't have.
You got to manifest it. Like they
Yes,
say, manifestation is
yes,
key.
I'm manifesting it. So yeah.
Nice. So, right now you're working in the food industry, but doing social media. So, how did you get that job? Because I remember you said that you actually were applying for the job after college. So, talk to
Mhm.
me about that process.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, similar to a lot of things in life, this was not what I expected working at this company. In fact, I saw it on LinkedIn. I was applying, I'll tell you, to everywhere. LA, New
Mhm.
York. I was pining away at trying to get out of the Bay Area. And I got desperate one day and was just like, I'm going to apply for this company. They're not even really in the Bay Area. They're in like the North Bay and a place where I
Mhm.
would never really want to be. But I was like, what the heck? Why not? Applied. I heard back in 12 minutes. This was on LinkedIn, by the way. So there's like over 100 applicants. I heard back in like
Mhm.
a minute, had an interview on a Monday, and then just like kept moving forward, and ended up getting the job. But it was a little bit rocky, I'm not gonna lie.
Mhm.
The whole onboarding process and like getting the job. But essentially just LinkedIn. I think my prior experience, I had like 2 months at a digital marketing agency right when I was graduating. And it was like an intensive. It was so amazing. I learned so much and that really propelled me forward. So Side note, if you need to do an internship after college, do not be ashamed because internships are so valuable. And that's what I basically
Yeah.
did for a couple months. And it really helped me get my full time gig that I have now. So, really crazy. Happened very quickly. The doors just opened wide up. And I was definitely mad because I was like, I'm trying to get out of here. I'm not trying to be here, let alone in a place where I would never see myself. Um,
Mhm.
so that's kind of been the thing, but it's been great. I've learned a lot, but it was super unexpected.
So what do you do? Like, what's your day to day at your job?
Right now, even though we're a company that you would literally see in every grocery store and we're a major big company, we are basically operating like a startup.
Mm.
There's a lot of big growing pains in the company right now. So I literally like have my laptop, my workstation open right now and I'm looking at my list. I'm like, I have the normal to-dos, which is like social media coordination, brainstorming, campaign planning, influencer partnerships, brand partnerships, obviously the normal like community management and posting, the social end. But then on top of that, I've just kind of been picking up with random other things like
Mhm.
working on our website and making enhancements to that and trying to improve the overall UX of the site, also working on like major workflow project management systems, like so many foundational things that me as like an entry level person probably shouldn't be doing, but I am. So, I mean, I'm just trying to stay afloat right now. I feel like my job, my duties have been very much outside of the realm of my to-dos that I was
Mhm.
originally assigned. But the everyday to like it changes. I honestly can't even give you what a day to day. It is centered around social, but I end up just like picking up with like random projects and tasks and helping to manage and make the place more efficient because that's like our biggest
Mhm.
thing right now. We're not the most efficient. So not the clearest of answers, but social media
Mhm.
coordination and more.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of entry level jobs, we kind of just like end up filling in the gaps and
Yep.
helping out. But I think from what you said, I think you're getting a lot of amazing skills that I think will help you if you decide to either change industries or change
Mhm.
jobs in general. Like you can go into probably a project management role if you're having a lot of project management experience. And I think sometimes when you work for smaller companies, it allows you, kind of like you were saying with the internship, you get to have your hands in things that you probably wouldn't experience if you were working at Goldman Sachs or
Yeah.
Facebook, Google, different things like that. So hopefully that experience really comes in clutch for you when or if you decide to make a move to a different company one day.
Yeah, that's so encouraging, and I honestly need to remind myself of that. I don't know about you, but I just entry level jobs are tough, and
Mhm.
we're the bottom of the barrel, and sometimes you get handed things that are just like, "What is going on? Like, this is a
Mhm.
mess." And I have people in my ear like, "Jasmine, this is really good. Like, you're building your skills." And I'm like, "I don't want. I want to be at like a Google where everything is together, and I just like come in, I do
Mhm.
my work, and like." So, but yes, I think that's super encouraging. So, thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem. So, what would you say are some of your favorite parts of your job?
Ooh, I love the like strategy portion of my job.
Mhm.
There's also aside from like project management, there's a lot of big meetings that I get brought into as someone who's entry level with like senior directors and I'm kind of like, I help to voice for my department. And so I love being able to strategize like how are we positioning our company? Who is our target audience? How are we going to reach them, things of that nature, and really being focused on like growth within the company has been great for me. um Also kind of in a similar to that, like brainstorming really fun creative ways to come up and show up on social and communicate our values. It's so much fun when you can just kind of like let your imagination run wild and brainstorm a ton of different ideas. So anything strategy, brainstorming, I would say putting that into action is my least favorite thing. I would love to just sit around all day and dream and be like, let's do this and that. And then like, okay, someone else do this. Like,
Right,
I
delegate
don't,
it to somebody
yes,
else.
I'm not trying to implement this. So in a dream world, that's what I'm doing. But yes, conceptualizing and just like sitting around daydreaming is my favorite part of
Mhm.
my job.
Hey, I get that. So, it's 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Daylight, whatever
Yeah,
time. You close
daylight.
your laptop. What do you do between like what do you do from closing your laptop to the time you go to sleep? Like what's like your after work routine?
Ooh, I love that. I've been purposely trying to change up that part of my life because
Mhm.
the novelty has been helping me, like the newness of having something new after work has helped me not feel so I feel so monotonous.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to, before I had my month break in Newport Beach, I would literally get off of work and start my side hustle, which I've funneled through TikTok. I do a lot of social media strategy for clients that reach out to me. So I'd literally log out, probably eat dinner really quickly, and I would get right to work on building like a strategy package or doing some research and insights on gathering insights on clients. So that was not fun. I got burnt out on that. So like I
Mm.
said, had my little break. Of course that was different. I was like going to the beach after work, but now I'm like, okay, I get to restructure that routine. So probably I'm going to say what I want it to be because I don't really have a routine yet. I want to be able to log off, go on a walk. I just we don't
Mm.
move working from home. Like I need to move around, so probably go on a
Yeah.
walk, call a friend, come back, have dinner, hang out with my family. If I need to do work for a couple hours or maybe one at most, do that. And then at night, having time, like if I want to watch a show, if I want to scroll on TikTok, like do that. I cannot remember the last time I've watched a show at night. Like I feel guilty doing that on a weekday.
Wow.
I'm not
Mhm.
terrible. I have a problem. So I'm like, I need to bring that back and I just need to implement rest into that part of my routine. So more to come on that, but that's my dream for after work.
Yeah. I love how you said implementing a walk. I think that is so important. Like, yes, I love work from home, but I have definitely picked up a couple pounds. And I think
Mhm.
a lot of that is because even though I drove to all my classes in college, I still did a lot of walking. I was
Yep.
involved in like sometimes involved in sports, but like now sitting,
Yeah.
eating. So like I've been trying to do more walks with my mom. So like it really depends on the week, and the weather here has been so weird. It was, like, raining super hard
Oh.
today, but we try to go for, like, 30 minutes to 45-minute walks every day, and now that it's starting to be a little better outside, I kinda wanna go, like, twice a day, so, like, before work
Yeah.
and maybe at lunch or lunchtime and after work, because I think just sitting down all day, 1, I feel like it's not good for the glutes because,
Mm-mm.
they say your
Yes.
butt can change if you sit all day. Don't want that to
Yes.
happen. And then just weight
Yes.
gain, joint problems. I don't want any of that.
The booty thing is real. I'm not
Mhm.
kidding you. I I have a little booty, little booty. When I started working at the agency, that was the first time work from home. I literally would tell my mom, I was like, "I feel like I'm flattening my butt out by sitting so long." And but I'm not kidding, at the end of the agency time, at the time I was there for 2 months, I looked in the mirror and I was like, "Where did my butt go? Where did it go?" It got flat. It flattened out.
Mhm.
So you're right. We get go get I have a standing desk.
Me too.
Get your
Look,
stand
stand
yes.
right now.
Stand up. We're not trying to flatten that booty. We're not
Right.
trying to widen, keep it plump, keep it cute, and go on your little walks. Recommend.
Yeah, that's the plan, hopefully. So let's talk about again how we met TikTok.
Yes.
So I don't remember when I came across your page, but I just remember scrolling and this girl was talking about so it was like the little prompt, like what social media app do you think is going to like die or something like that? And then this girl pops up on the screen and says, I think Instagram is just gonna disappear. And I'm like, Instagram? How could she think that Instagram is gonna go anywhere? This is like the most popular app, and this was before all their dumb changes. But that
Mhm.
person was you. So well, question one, when did that TikTok blow up? And then how did you feel when you woke up the next morning? And I'm assuming you probably had at least a couple thousand views after like 8 hours.
Oh my gosh. Yes. First of all, that video is like burned in my brain. I can't really watch it because I'm just like I cringe over hearing my own voice.
Yeah.
So that video, I think I posted that in January and it blew up pretty much overnight. It
Wow.
had, especially with the new way the algorithm kind of works with TikTok, it kept getting pushed out. So I ended up like getting like bursts of engagement throughout the next few months of having it, and I it was crazy. So, yeah, that's I don't know what I didn't even plan on having, like, a niche of talking about it. That was back when I didn't care what I posted on TikTok, I just wanted to see what landed well.
Mhm.
Obviously, I got a lot of people talking, and I realized that's kind of been my TikTok account as much as I would love to be so, like, beloved and, like, "Oh my gosh, I love this girl." Like, I get a lot of crazy comments of people like, "You're stupid. I disagree with you.
Mm.
You're dumb. Your logic is wrong." Like, all this stuff, so but it helps me get more engagement, the more
Yeah,
people
that's true.
comment, even the haters. So, yeah, from there, I was just like, "Is this gonna be my niche?" Like, started making random videos kind of related to that, but not really. Still kind of posted random stuff about, like, college, and some
Mhm.
stuff still continued to blow up, and then I just was like, "You know what? I need to commit to being really consistent about who I am on this platform." And I think what I wanna talk about is social media news, tech updates, and, like, tips and tricks on social. And that's what I've been doing ever since, and it's been amazing. And like I mentioned previously, when I first had that video blow up, I had a ton of people flooding my DMs. It was, like,
Mhm.
really crazy. I felt like a business person, like, literally responding to my DMs on my laptop. And people were like, "Hey, do you do social media marketing? I'd love your help." Like, I had a ton of people reaching out for,
Wow.
work. I realized this is something I could monetize. I quickly made a website, had my first client call like a few weeks after that, and I've been doing that ever since. Very like, sporadically, but still like I've
Mhm.
had a handful of people. So, all that to say, it was crazy. I started a little side hustle from it, which is a blessing, and I'm still learning how to manage, like, TikTok, and, like, I'm like, I don't have any goals for this platform. I just wanna keep it up
Mhm.
right now and see what happens, and I don't have, like, I wanna reach 30K by tomorrow. Like, no, I don't care. As long as people are finding my content valuable, and, I have a steady flow of, like, you know, clients, that's great. So, in a nutshell, that's been kinda like my TikTok experience. That was back in January that started, and we're here now. So,
And how many followers do you have now?
I think I have like 25K, something like
Wow.
that. Yeah,
That's an
it's crazy
army.
because funny enough, my brother a year ago set out to be TikTok famous. And so TikTok has been a big talk in our house for some time now. And so he was able to grow a platform using our family as clout because my dad's Chinese, my mom is black. And so
Mhm.
people were like obsessed, like your typical interracial. It was just too much. And so
Mhm.
he was able to like go big off of that, and he kinda dropped off, and then as soon as he dropped off, I, like, started getting my following, and I was like, "See, I can do it too, I don't need to use mom and dad
Right,
to
I
get
can do it by
famous.
myself.
I can do it by myself." Yeah. So, yeah, we're a big TikTok
Nice.
family in this household.
That's awesome. And I like how your content doesn't feel forced. Like there are some people that like like one video will go viral and then you can tell they're just trying to like milk the content, but I
Mm,
feel like every
mhm.
time one of your videos pop up, it seems like you're genuinely interested and that you actually have knowledge. You're not just like talking just to talk. So, I really enjoy your videos.
I appreciate that because sometimes I'll be getting comments and I'm like, "I'm stupid," like, "My logic is wrong," like, all that stuff, and so I appreciate that 'cause I try and be authentic. It's hard. It's hard to come across, like, super authentic all the time, but
Yeah.
I'm glad you like the content.
Yeah, and I think the TikTok comment section is honestly one of the worst comment sections I've ever seen in my life. So, since how do I say this? Since getting like your troop of followers and like getting some hate comments, do you feel like that's affected how you think of yourself and your expertise at all?
Oh my word, yes. Nothing
Mhm.
has affected me more than those comments, and it's funny because when I first had that viral video that you were referencing, I had like my friends would tell me like, "What are you talking about? I'm looking in your comments and they're all great." But people don't realize that you will still see comments trickle in on your notifications and it's very hard not to read them.
Mhm.
And again, people weren't saying anything about how I looked, thank God, or like saying that I was ugly or something. I think that would have really affected me, but people just being like, social media, like working in social media, what a joke, or you are
Mm.
stupid, this is wrong. Like, just stuff where I was like, "Okay, this is kind of not terrible, but, like, it's still affecting me." And there was a
Yeah.
point in time where I privated that video. I mean, it got to, like,
Wow.
it's just under 2 million views, I think, and I privated it because I didn't wanna keep seeing the comments roll in about what people thought of me. And since then, I've been a little bit triggered, I must say, from like videos. Like sometimes I'll post something and I say something incorrectly, or I reference an incorrect word, and people will come for me really quickly and just be like, "You don't understand how this works. You're dumb. You should have done more research." And it like has deeply affected me. I've cried over it. I'm not gonna lie. I've
Mm,
questioned my like intelligence. I've questioned. I'm like, why didn't I notice this before I posted it? But on the other hand, I've learned a lot. I've actually grown because I think there are some things that I can improve on and the way the way I communicate my thought process so that I've had to look in the mirror, right? But at the same time, I've had to step away a little bit. I don't post as much as I used to. I might post once a week now, and that's been really helpful. And I if a video starts getting really crazy comments, I start blocking people, or if it's just altogether the sentiment is bad, I just private the video. I've had a lot of
mm,
videos not a lot, but like about 3 videos that I've posted in the past few months that have gotten really good views quickly because of like more controversy. Like I showed people how to track if you have fake followers or, inauthentic
mhm.
followings. And influencers were in my comments being like, this is wrong. This website doesn't work. This girl's trying to get us to pay. She's a scammer, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, are you kidding me? I haven't, how could I scam you guys off of this? Like, what? And like
Yeah.
trying to prove myself. There's another video where I incorrectly used the word like capitalism in the way I was referencing something, and people came for me. They're like, you don't understand economics, blah, blah. So completely just privated it. I'm like, it's not worth the few thousand views or however many about thousands of views I'm going to get for the sake of my like mental health. So
Yeah.
yes, you have to be strong. And I have a very much of a soft spot for influencers now. I'm like, and celebrities, people just say random stuff that they should not say. I'm like, what compels you to look at a video and think, oh, I'm going to comment this awful, nasty thing about someone? I don't get it. And I
Yes.
think you said TikTok comments, they used to be a really sweet place. They used to be hilarious. They still are hilarious. But I feel like
Mhm.
quickly it's turned very volatile and like things are just really harmful on that app. So you have to be really careful and you have to be really sure of yourself and know like if someone looks at that video and in comments and says you're stupid, like are you going to be okay?
Yeah.
So all that to say, yes, it's hard. It's definitely rough
Mhm.
sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't want to like say so I know everyone knows Queen Charlie D'Amelio, right? So we know
Yes.
she's the queen of TikTok. And I feel like I don't want to say you guys are similar because these are like two completely different situations, but I'm sure you probably heard she basically says, "Oh, TikTok isn't fun anymore because people are like constantly dragging her in the comments for like how she
Mm,
looks, how she talks, her teeth, her freckles, how she does her hair, like literally anything. People are
mm,
picking her apart from it." She's like, I started this app because it was fun. I was just posting videos with friends, and now I have this huge platform, and I can barely look at my comments because it's all full
mm.
of hate. So I wish TikTok could do something where either maybe you could like censor words like on YouTube. I'm pretty sure you can
Filter.
like
Yes.
yeah, filter words that can be posted, and they need like better like community guidelines that can automatically block comments because I think a lot of the things that people say is just so hurtful. And then
Yeah.
it also makes me wonder like are these like 12-year-olds commenting this, or are these like the 35-year-old men who live in their basement who don't like leave the house? Like what
Yeah.
possessed you to leave this hurtful comment underneath this person's video that you don't even know?
Mhm. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's weird. I don't there's like a world of hate and trolls. Like
Mhm.
I think I said this in the last podcast we filmed. I had a video once where someone commented out of the blue, like, don't you're being dumb. Don't it was like some stupid thing, right? It was very specific what they said. I
Mhm.
blocked them, and then a similar account with no following, no profile showed up and commented the same thing, and I couldn't remove it. And I
That's
was like,
weird.
is there like a secret society of people who literally their job is to leave hate comments? I think there is. I
Probably.
genuinely I wouldn't be surprised. And I hope TikTok, like you said, does something. I actually, funny you mentioned, I recently noticed an update where on your TikTok you can batch delete video or comments and batch delete or batch block them. So
That's
it's like a
smart.
little option, and you click edit and you just go down and you can just click, 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 delete. And I was like, wow, okay. So they're obviously getting feedback that comments are really rough. And I believe you can do
Wow.
keyword filtering as well.
Oh,
So if you want
nice.
to like block off like stupid or something, people can't comment. And I used to again make fun of people and be like, what a wuss. Why would you turn off your comments? Why would you do this? But the slightest thing, I know even this girl, Victoria, I think her name is Victoria Paris on TikTok, has blown up really recently. And she will block people who like disagree with her. And I'm like, okay, that's a bit
Mm.
extreme. But at the same time, I've blocked a lot of people who've just disagreed with me and said really awful things. So
Mhm.
do what you have to do, and don't be ashamed if you want to start doing TikTok or any sort of social media and you want to start putting yourself out there. You just have to be ready for people to be crazy.
That's so true. So, so true. So, let's change gears a little bit. And thank you so much for sharing your experience with the hate comments and how it affects you. I think that's really, really important. And that's something that's literally not talked about whatsoever.
Yeah.
But let's just talk about social media kind of in general. So, like we said earlier, you're a social media coordinator. So, I feel like obviously our generation, we have to know how to use social media because we have to be connected with people. But I feel like in order to do social media as a job, that takes a completely different level of like knowledge and expertise. So where and how did you learn so much about social media and how to be successful as a social media coordinator? This is so
Mm.
funny because I'm like we're so new to the workspace, but still.
Yeah, no, it's I almost feel when people ask me questions like expertise, and I'm like, I'm not qualified to say that I have expertise in something because I'm 23 and this is my first job. And I think that's
Hmm.
also just an overarching theme about being in your job post grad. Like, I hope your employers are supporting you and people are supporting you to know that, like, yes, you have skills, but like you're not an expert and you still need to learn, but also your input is very valuable as if you were an expert,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So for me, I have not had a lot of guidance with this career. I've just kind of self managed. I got a lot of experience in my last two jobs ago. I had, so for about just under 2 years, I was a marketing assistant for that natural skincare company I was telling you about.
Hmm.
I ran their social pages and I was able to experiment with a lot of things. And I think because of that, my boss was not a micromanager. She was just like, okay, do what you want, figure it out. I was able to just learn a lot and just mess up, fail, Google
Yeah.
something if I didn't know. I mean, it wasn't expected for me to know. Her and I were both learning together. So there was beauty in that. I was actually able to kind of implement some strategies and grow some things. So it was great. Then I was able to get my job at this agency, as I mentioned, for 2 months after college. It was like a fellowship internship situation.
Hmm.
And that woman was amazing. It was the first time I'd been learning like from an expert. She literally interned with Barack Obama
Wow.
and went to Oxford, like owned this digital marketing agency. She's like 26, killer
Wow.
boss girl, right? Like total
Wow.
girl boss. And she just taught us so much about like tips and tricks with like the algorithms and ways to think about like basically what I think about Lauren is her name, Lauren. She helped us get into the mind of these platforms. Like Facebook is doing this because at the end of the day, everything is about money. It's a business, but like
Yep.
thinking of it that way, right? Like this new feature is implemented for this. Like this is how we're gonna adjust. We're gonna start implementing this kind of strategy. Like, so we really got a deep understanding of the algorithm. She had so many tricks up her sleeve. It was
Hmm.
scary. She has friends that work at Facebook and Instagram, TikTok. So like we were able to get really connected, and she would have friends who like she'd pay them and they would do like seminars with us on like trainings with the platforms, and we just learned a lot. So that was her
Wow.
mentality, was I teach the young people a lot and they will be equipped. So that was great. And then from then I was able to leave and then implement some of those strategies at my current job. So I would say that's kind of how I've become an expert. I'm definitely not an expert, but aside from that, even my own TikTok, I'm able to implement like gather my own market research. I ask people a question on how they're interacting with a platform, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I hate that," or "I love that," you know. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm constantly just trying to learn and have a listening ear. I think that's the main thing with this job. You have to listen and you have to be attentive to what's going on and be flexible because these apps will change something overnight and you have to completely change everything. So you have to be flexible.
That is so true. So, what would you say are some interesting either social media trends or social media app changes that you've noticed lately?
Ooh, there's a lot. I would say everyone is moving to video content, right? Like prioritizing
Mm-hmm.
video, specifically short form video. We have our favorite Instagram, as I call the colonizer of all social platforms, ripping off TikTok with Reels, which is funny because Reels are not successful at all for Instagram, and a lot of it is just recycled TikToks. So I
Yes.
think that's really interesting to pay attention to, though, because it shows the power of, like, think about reviews before with influencers, right? And if they post it on Instagram, like a picture of them with a water bottle, like, buy this water bottle, right? Like, okay, whatever, fake. Your picture is perfect. You're posing. Versus if someone gets on TikTok and they're like, y'all, I'm obsessed with this water bottle. It's my favorite thing. It's brand new. It's insulated, keeps my water cool. I can't tell you how many things I've bought because I've watched like a video review of a product. And at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
these apps are thinking money. How do we funnel more money into this app? E-commerce, right? So I think something interesting that I've noticed is just how specifically Instagram and Facebook are purely formulating to be like an e-commerce shopping platform. That's why they don't care that they have a new shopping tab and that you don't have
Mm-hmm.
your little feed in the same place. Um, so there's that, and I think even YouTube, which is the king of video, right? They have
Yeah.
little shorts, which again, it seems very odd to have it on
Weird.
YouTube. I'm not a fan. It literally looks like it's in beta. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, YouTube, y'all need to do something. But again, I mean, short form video is the way to go. It connects us, I think, a lot better with people. You can get a much more holistic sense of who the user is or what the video is about, and it's more entertaining. So
Yeah.
the big trend for short form video is something that I'm here for, and I hope is here to stay.
I love how you compared like an Instagram influencer just taking a picture with the water bottle versus either a random person or that same influencer like just talking about the water bottle on on TikTok. I think it definitely makes a huge difference. And then you talked about Instagram shopping. So listeners, I tagged Jasmine in this TikTok maybe this week
Mm,
or last week,
yeah.
and they were saying that Instagram/Facebook, they think that they're trying to compete with Amazon.
Mm,
And very I feel like they have a long way to go because
yeah.
Amazon
Mm,
is in
Jeff.
its own category.
Yes.
Yeah, Jeff, he's getting richer and richer and
Yes.
will continue to get rich. He got my money today.
Jeff, yes.
But I think it was such an interesting comparison to think they really want users to buy directly from the app. And well, question, have you bought anything directly from Instagram before?
No, and I don't plan on it.
Mm. Me,
Not to be
I think it's
dramatic.
weird.
It's weird, and that's the problem when you, for years, have people by habit used to, like, I go on Instagram to see what my friends and family are up to, right? You Like, I don't think I'm gonna go on Instagram to shop. I never thought that.
Hmm.
I'm thinking of connection with friends and family. So that's the problem with that. I think inherently Instagram isn't staying true to like their niche, which is like photo
Mm.
sharing, connection. I would be thinking, what are some fun ways we can like optimize the photo sharing experience, right? Over shopping. But I tell people there's a lot of people who are dropping off of Instagram, right? But they look at that loss versus the overall gain of formulating this to be a shopping feature platform. They're like, the gain is far better than the loss.
Hmm.
So to me, I mean, it's crazy, but that's what happens when you have people used to one thing and then they now are being told that we have to shop on there. So I would say no. I don't plan on shopping on Instagram. I will not be shopping on Instagram. I think if anything, I've bought more things from TikTok. Like,
For
talk to
sure.
me about it. Chlorophyll. I've been getting certain clothes, like just anything. So
Hmm.
I think that was your question, right? You asked if I bought
Yes,
anything.
yes, you
Okay, yeah.
answered
I'm like, it's one of the
perfectly.
things. Yeah. Have you? You said you
Well,
haven't either?
no, I haven't. And like you said, I probably won't. Like, sometimes it's cool to see, oh, if someone has like this pair of shoes, oh, what's the name of it? Oh, those
Mhm.
are the Nike Air Force 2012s. Like,
Right.
that's cool, but I'm not adding my card to the app.
No.
Like, I feel like there's nothing I really want in life that just
No.
makes me feel like I would want to shop on Instagram. Um, yeah, no. And I like
Yeah.
how you mentioned like Instagram needs to go back to their purpose, like photo sharing. I get, short form video is key, but I think maybe they can make some changes and make like pictures powerful again. Maybe they need to do something that will make photo dumps even cooler than they are now. I'm not sure,
Mhm.
but
Right.
yeah,
There's
I feel like
ways, original
yeah.
features that they could come out with that no one else could replicate, but instead they're choosing to rip off other platforms.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like ever since Facebook purchased them, which I don't even remember when that was, but it
Mhm.
just kind of seems like every change that they've implemented since then has been a mess. The only thing I kind of like is that more than two people can get on live, but that's just a
Mm.
clubhouse dupe,
Yeah.
basically. It's not even original.
I know, and, I love stories, but again, I'm like, "That's from Snapchat," like,
Yep.
all these things, trust me, if I ever had the chance to work for Instagram, I mean, they would know I'm a big hater, but I'll work for y'all. Y'all wanna pay me some big bucks? I'll come in.
Hey, she'll
But
change your company.
I will, like, give me the chance, but it's funny you say that because I just became Google AdWords certified a few weeks ago, and
Nice.
I was thinking about because there's a big shift. There's a whole other thing that we could talk about another time with Facebook ads actually and tracking and Apple. You can opt out of being
Yeah.
tracked on your iPhone now on apps like Facebook, which is a huge deal for retargeting and people who work in, paid media. So, um, Google Ads was talking about why are they so successful, right? Well, because when you go on Google, you are searching for something. You are already in the mindset of I need to find something. I have a problem, I need a solution. Maybe I'm looking for a product or service, whatever. So having an advertisement aligned with that, that's like, "Hey, are you looking for new brown shoes? Oh my gosh, here's this advertisement for a brown shoe." Okay, that makes
Yeah.
more sense. Then Instagram, I'm like, "Let me see what my family and friends are up to." A brown shoe pops up. I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to see the brown shoe. I want to see pictures of my friends and my family. So that
Mhm.
is my gripe with Instagram. And that's why I was thinking about Google and I was like, I would love to also work here. But I'm like, it's so genius and that will not go out. That need to have those like searchable, those search ads. So
Yeah,
anyway,
for
I could talk about that
sure.
all day. I'm writing down some TikTok ideas. You're giving me some great content ideas. I'm going
Yes.
to be writing this down right now.
You definitely should. You know what would also be kind of cool? I'm sure you've seen it. There was this TikTok going around. This lady showed you where you can see what Google knows about you. I did it a couple weeks ago. I was so impressed, but also like,
What?
dang, they really are targeting me. Like, they know that I'm looking at MBA programs, or they know that I was looking at schools in the South. Like, they know that I'm looking for some, like, the statistics or the tags or keywords that they know that you look up is
Scary.
so crazy. It's scary. It's crazy. Um, yeah. One day we'll have to talk about The Social Dilemma. Have you seen that?
Oh, of course. I told everyone
Yeah.
to watch that. I mean, were they not
Fascinating.
wrong? That was before the insurrection, but they were like, "We're probably gonna end in civil war." It's like, we
Step
might, and we
one.
almost did, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, we are at the end of this episode. Well, almost at the end. I have two questions for you. First, I want to ask you, do you have any advice for either recent grads, or current college students who want to work in the world of social media marketing?
Yes, I think with this whole lack of jobs and, having a hard time getting experience, it's one of the best fields to learn on your own. So I recommend if you want to get into social media, like do it yourself. Have some
Yes.
strategies in place where you're like, I wonder if I did this for 30 days, if I could grow my platform. Like write those down, track your metrics and see, and you can literally put that on your resume. Like I for fun grew my TikTok by this many followers in this many days implementing X strategies. Like it is absolutely endless. You don't need to have an official job title to have experience doing social media marketing. And I think that's the really incredible thing. And there's always going to be a need for social media marketers because it's the best and biggest way that we're communicating with people today. So
Yeah.
I would recommend, trying it on your own and growing your own platforms. Of course, I'm always going to recommend TikTok. And just, the virality opportunities there are incredible. So, try your hand at being consistent on that platform or Instagram, whatever it might be. But yeah, get your own experience and potentially like see where that goes and be able to leverage that for when you want to apply for an official job or not. Maybe you want to do your own thing. You can also do that and kind of like what I'm doing, funnel through TikTok or whatever. So
Yes.
the world is yours. Be creative and just start out. Even if you have like an extra $20 a month that you want to spend and you want to run Google ads or Facebook ads, like just, get your hands dirty and actually put in the work so you can say you actually have experience doing that.
That is so smart. If you can't get the experience, build your own right now in your bedroom.
Yes, we're still in the pandemic. We're still it's ending, but we're still in our beds, our bedrooms.
Yep.
So do it. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. And what is some just general life advice that you would give to people that are in a situation, like people that are recent college grads, people that are still living at home with their families, or people that, just started their jobs?
Mm, that's so good. Again, I'm gonna reference TikTok. I saw this TikTok today and it reminded me of what I feel like has been my biggest struggle in life recently. And she was hiking up a hill and she was like, I need to get to this hill. I need to get to the top of this hill. But how am I gonna get there? I take my small steps and I have to focus on these small steps to get me to that big hill. And she was like, that's life. Like, do not be so fixated on the end goal that you take yourself away from what's happening in the present, especially
Mm,
with being at home with your family. Like, and I know everyone has different family situations, so this is going to be easier for some than others. But I mean, when I first moved out back here home, I was very restless. I was like, I need to get out of here now. Like, there's no point in me being home. Like, it was rough. And it wasn't until I just like surrendered. I was like, you know what? Like, there's something for me here. However long I'm here, there's something for me. And I just need to take like small baby steps and focus on today and not focus on like, I need to be out and I need to be in my own apartment and running my whatever.
yeah.
No. Focus on what you have today, but still don't lose sight of your dreams, right? Like, I'm still learning this the perfect balance of like focusing on the short term and what's happening now and then dreaming really big and
Mhm.
still remaining content in all of that. So, it's a balance, it's a dance every single day, but, I would say be peaceful in every season because life is not guaranteed, and where we are at in life is not gonna be guaranteed. So, get used to it now. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really, really good advice. I love that. Like, keep in mind that you have this dream, this goal, but focus on those little steps because that's what's going to get you to that goal. Because if
Mhm.
you just look at that goal and you don't focus on, like, your everyday situations, you might fall into a black hole and never get there. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
totally. It's rough,
awesome.
but we're
It
all we're all
is.
learning how to do it.
That's so true. Well, Jasmine, thank you so much times two
Yes.
for taking this time to record with me on the Graduate and Grown podcast. I feel like I definitely think it's good that we lost the first episode because I think I enjoyed this one even more. I
Yeah.
like that we kind of touched on other topics, and I think it would be really beneficial, not only to me, but also for the listeners. So if someone wants to connect with you, whether that's, booking you for some social media strategy, following your TikTok or following your Instagram, how should they find you?
Absolutely. You can find me at on Instagram _Jasmine Watt _. If you want to check out my TikTok, I'm at Jazzy Badazzy, JAZYBDAZY. Um, and yeah, LinkedIn. You want to connect with me on LinkedIn? Anything, Jasmine Watt. I'm open. I love connecting with people and just hopping on phone calls for like talks like stuff like this. So
Yes.
definitely reach out if you'd love to connect.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Jasmine.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. As you said, I think this was meant to be. I loved this conversation even more, which I didn't think was possible, as said in the beginning. So, thank you for organizing this. I'm so excited for other people to hear this great conversation we had. So, this was awesome.
Again, this episode was so fun to record. I learned so much and had a really, really great time connecting with Jasmine. And I honestly feel like this platform, this podcast is really helping me connect with people that I probably would have never connected with. If I didn't have my podcast, I probably would just be following Jasmine, probably would have never reached out to her. But I think the podcast has given me a new friend, and I'm so, so happy for that. I said, like, if I'm ever in the Bay, girl, we have to meet up. You have to show me the food. I need to see the beach, all the great places to go. I was in the Bay Area 3 years ago with my boyfriend because that's where he's from. And I absolutely love the area. So definitely would love to go back and visit Jasmine. But again, if you guys are interested in following her journey, be sure to see the episode show description, and I'll have her links down below. And also you can go to the Instagram to see more content. Again, that Instagram is at Graduated and Grown, or you can go over to our YouTube channel, Graduated and Grown, for more content there as well. But again, thank you so much for supporting the Graduated and Grown podcast. Season 2 has been a blast. And I will see y'all next Wednesday with another episode. All right, peace out. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Graduated and Grown podcast. I appreciate you so, so much. If you haven't already, be sure to rate this podcast 5 stars and subscribe to the podcast so you can get a notification every single time a new episode is posted each week. Also, don't forget to follow our Instagram at Graduated and Grown so you can learn a little bit more about our guests, about our topics, get some resources, and provide some feedback and or episode ideas for the podcast. All right, y'all. It was your host, Ariane, and I'll talk with you all next time.